Hey everyone, it's Ryan. Tonight I'm going to be making a lemon meringue pie. Okay, to start with, I pre-baked my pie crust. So I will include the recipe for my pie crust in the description below. I baked this at 325 for about 35 minutes with pie weights in it so that the sides didn't fall down too much and the center didn't bubble up. So it did get nice and toasty on the bottom. While this is going to bake more with lemon filling and meringue on top, you want to make sure that your crust is really good and baked. So now we are going to get started on the filling. We are going to do this in the microwave. I've done that before in another video and it works out really well. So we're going to do that, and while this is cooking in the microwave, we're going to get our meringue started for the top of the pie. So in my bowl here, I do have everything already pre-measured, just because it was easier. So in my bowl, I'm going to do 1.5 cups of water. Let me make sure I measured this correctly. 1/2 cup of lemon juice. That was correct. And then I do have a mixture here of my 4 tablespoons of cornstarch, a pinch of salt, and 1.5 cups of sugar. So I'm going to add that in here. Make sure we get out all that cornstarch from the bag. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and just whisk this good. Make sure we don't have any lumps of cornstarch. And now I'm going to add 4 egg yolks. Okay. Again, whisk that up really well. Now, when we put this in the microwave, I'm going to first put it on for 3 minutes, and then I will take it out, stir it, and then we'll do it in 2-minute increments. So I'm gonna get this put in the microwave. All right, so in our mixer bowl, you can do this with a hand mixer too. We have the 4 egg whites. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add like 1/8 teaspoon of cream of tartar. And then in my bowl with my sugar, I am going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of cornstarch. And that will hopefully soak up a little bit of any moisture that comes out of the meringue, because it is going to go in the refrigerator and be served tomorrow. So sometimes your meringue can weep. So we're gonna hope that this cornstarch helps out a little bit with that. So while that is cooking, we are going to get this started. We're gonna whip this on high until it gets foamy, and then we will add the sugar and cornstarch mixture, and I will just mix in that cornstarch a little bit so there's no clumps. And then here in a little over a minute, we are going to take that lemon filling out and whisk it. Okay, I am going to beat it by hand a minute just so that I can get this cream of tartar mixed in. When you do have a small amount of egg whites or meringue, sometimes you do have to get it going just a little bit by hand if you're going to use a stand mixer. All right, so after 3 minutes in the microwave, it has not thickened up at all. So we're just going to mix it good, and then we're going to put it back in the microwave for 2 more minutes. And the only reason I turned this off was just so you could hear me. So we're gonna keep this going. Okay, I'm gonna turn it down to as low as my mixer will go and just slowly sprinkle in that sugar and cornstarch. And again, because this is a smaller amount, I am going to stop the mixer here in a second and combine it by hand. All right. This has gone off again, and I am going to whisk it really well. Smells so good. And again, it has not started thickening at all yet, so we're gonna put it in again at another 2 minutes. All right, I hope you can hear me over this, but I don't want to turn these off again because they are going. So it is starting to thicken, but we are not going to stop here because we want it to thicken more. So I'm gonna put this back in for another 2 minutes. And just keep an eye on it. You wanna make sure that it doesn't boil out. This is the amount that is basically perfect for these batter bowls because it comes almost right up to the top. So certainly do not do like a double batch or anything. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it in the microwave, but I'm gonna put it in for another 2 minutes. All right, so we want this at stiff peaks. And it is almost there. It's not quite there, so we're gonna let this run. All right, we are there with the stiff peaks here. This, I do believe, is done. You probably saw, so this was my thing from my sugar that I put in here, so it is clean. I did dab a little bit of this out onto it. I just want to make sure that it's going to gel nicely once it cools, and it does look like it is going to. If it doesn't, it will make for a very sad, just lemon meringue pie. It won't slice, it'll just come out everywhere. So, we are going to be done with the whisk. Set this aside, I'm actually going to get a sheet pan. I do not like putting my pies directly on the rack because, I mean, this one does have handles, but sometimes they're hard to grab with the crust. So I would rather just put them on a sheet pan. So we're just going to pour this directly into our baked pie shell. You can tell these spots on the side where it was starting to cool. They have already started to gel. So that means that our pie should set up very nicely. So we are done with this, and I need to get another spatula for the meringue. All right. So this is still a little jiggly. So my only concern with that is that it is going to sink all of my meringue. So I am going to possibly pipe this. Just need to see if I can find a piping bag. Let's see. Okay, this looks great. So, all right, I got out a gallon Ziploc. This may affect the fluffiness of the meringue a tiny bit, but like I said, this is very jiggly, and if I put all this meringue in here, it's gonna sink in the center and bring the filling out the side. So, I am going to fill my bag. You can use a piping bag if you want to. I'm just using a gallon Ziploc because most people have those readily available. I would have to dig for a piping bag, and I don't want to. All right. So this is not going to be pretty, by the way, because these bags are a little bit weird, but I am just going to go all the way around. And yes, I am affecting the air in the meringue. Just want to get it all over. This would be much nicer with a piping bag. Okay, and you could also use more egg whites if you wanted to make a taller meringue. I just like to take a spoon because that's what my grandma and my mom did. So I just take a spoon and make sure that your meringue touches your crust all the way around. So I'm just taking it down. This is just gonna kind of seal in your filling. Go all around. You could use an offset spatula if you wanted to. So now I just like to go around and make like a little wavy design all the way around. And then just start going up the pie. I don't like to make too many like true peaks because, you know, those are the parts that tend to cook quicker and you don't want them to burn. All right, and you can just do whatever pattern you want to. I'm seeing on this side I have a little bit more, so I'm trying to bring some up to the top. Okay, so this is going to be done. I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 for 20 minutes, and then I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Well, in true Ryan fashion, I put my pie in the oven and looked over, and there's still butter sitting on the counter. So I forgot to add my butter at the end with the filling after it came out of the microwave. So don't forget to add your 2 tablespoons of butter. It's going to be just fine. For me, it'll be fine. And obviously I'm not going to redo it. It's going to be fine. But don't forget your 2 tablespoons of butter after you take it out of the microwave for the last time before you fill your pie shell. All right, I just pulled the pie out of the oven and it does have just a slight jiggle, but that's just because everything is still hot. So I'm gonna leave this sit out on the counter for a little while until it's a little bit more cooled, and then I will put it in the refrigerator on a hot pad so that it can cool overnight, and we will enjoy this tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.